What's up YouTube, TV Locs here bringing you guys another video. Yes, today I wanted to talk to you guys about a little topic that I kind of loosely covered here and there in some of my other videos. And that topic is why I cut my first set of locks. A lot of you guys have been asking questions about it, and you know, quite frankly, I just kind of felt the need to kind of explain to you guys because I felt like it could really be beneficial to some of you guys that are dealing with some of the temptation to cut your locks currently. All right, so stay tuned. All right, so one of the first reasons why, well, let me not get right into the reasons. Let's set the stage a little bit. When I first decided to get my locks, you know, I was like a lot of people, you know, in that 2000 era. You know, it was all about braids, it was all about cornrows. You know, Lil Wayne was, you know, at his peak around that time period. You know, so everybody was getting locks. I remember I had taken a trip to Alabama one summer, and like everybody had locks. So locks were huge. Since about like 7th grade, I had been on like this journey to try to grow and get long hair. When I tell you that everybody had long hair, like every male prominent, well, I won't say every, a lot of the cool prominent males in like entertainment had really, really long hair. So from 7th grade on, I had been on journeys to try to grow my hair. You know, and of course, I would always succumb to like, I can't get through the rough phase. Even when growing an afro, there's a rough phase. There's that half-fro stage where you can't braid it, can't do anything. I was struggling. But I eventually did end up getting a set of locks. Let my hair grow out for about a year before deciding to get them. I rocked braids, I rocked the afro, and you know, I'd really gotten the full feel of just having long hair, and I loved it. Getting locks was just that next step. And I got the locks. It was around the same time Jaleesi and I started dating. My wife started dating, and it was just a great journey. You know, one thing about being in a relationship, and that's the funny thing. One thing about being in a relationship, it really does help that lock journey out. And you know, those of you guys who are in a relationship, a firm relationship, know what I'm talking about. A relationship is where you can let your body go sometimes. You can eat a little bit more. You can kind of relax a little bit. You can go through the rough phase of going through locks, and it was cool. You know, I started my locks out with my girlfriend at the time. It was just a great journey. I had grown them up until the day that I decided to cut them. And I had gone from I started my locks around sophomore year in high school, and I decided to cut them around my sophomore year in college. And there were several reasons, I believe, that kind of attributed to that, right? You know, the biggest reason, first and foremost, was just I was tired of having having hair constantly on my face, constantly on my ears, just constantly just in the way. One thing about growing your locks, like all around your neck, you know, from the neck line to the hairline, the entirety of it, is that hair, it's just persistent, man. It was on the back of my neck, it was on my ears, and it was constantly itching. Not only that, you know, I have scalp psoriasis. So scalp psoriasis on top of just the nuisance of having hair constantly tickling or itching you was just annoying. The first reason why was just I had woken up at around 3 a.m. after just a bout of just scratching my hair consistently. I decided that it was enough. Enough was enough. I was gonna be done with these locks. The second reason was also, you know, with having my locks on my neck and all the way around, I just did not have the options that I thought were gonna come with having long locks. You know, I couldn't rock ponytails. You know, because my head was so damn big, I couldn't rock any locks, or I'm sorry, any hats. I couldn't rock any hats. So you're talking about a person who couldn't rock snapback hats because his head was too big with the locks. You're talking about a person who couldn't rock fitted hats because the largest size was a size 8. I got a big ass head, y'all. So a size 8 with my locks, with my thick hair, it just wasn't working. So I wasn't allowed to wear hat. I couldn't do anything but rock those locks. At the time, feeling like there was only 2 options, and like braids and rocking it, it was kind of like, dog, I'm kind of done. I didn't have any options, right? The third reason was mainly because I did not have any pictures, no pictures whatsoever of what I look like without locks, what I look like with a fade. You know, at the time, you know, everyone was talking about locks like they were this, you know, childish thing. They were things that entertainers typically adorn. And, you know, the universal approved look for men was the fade. You know, men of all likes. It was the, well, black men in particular, that fade, that clean cut, that line up, you know, and that coupled with the fact that I had not seen myself with a fade in my adulthood kind of bothered me. You know, I had to dig back all the way to 7th grade to find the only photo that I could find with an actual fade. And it, you know, it's so interesting because right now what we're dealing with is a time period in history where we can literally archive every single moment of our lives, right? Because of camera phones and things like that, we have some of the most thorough accounts of history. We will have some of the most thorough accounts of history ever, right? Right now, everything's gonna be in 4K, HD, dope. But at that time period, you know, I wasn't walking around with a camera phone. You know what I'm saying? And if I did have pictures that were in a JPEG format, they were saved on a computer somewhere, and, or, you know, somewhere that you couldn't find on like some old computer that, you know, no longer was compatible with the stuff that you were using on your phone. So I didn't have any photos of myself in my adulthood with the fade. That bothered me. So that was a huge reason. Another reason was I felt like there was a need to kind of like do an emotional shed. At this time, my now wife and I had broken up. So at the time it was kind of like, hey, like, you know, let's come out of this cocoon and like be someone new. Shed all remnants of the, you know, prior relationship so that you can kind of emerge into this new stage of manhood, right? When I tell you that the fade was like the universal, it was so much considered like this universal like aesthetic. Like when I cut my lock for that first little week, I got more attention from females than I had ever gotten at that point. Granted, obviously it's a newness factor, but it was also because the fade is just a more universal look, just point blank period. And at that time period in like the, you know, mid to early 2000s, you know, locks weren't as appreciated. You didn't have a bunch of lock Instagram pages. You didn't have a bunch of lock, you know, resources to kind of help you out. You didn't have YouTube channels like these that were kind of helping you out. I'm lying, you did. Because you did have people like Dreadlocks23. You did. Dreadlocks was out there. He was one of the first people that I remember watching that had locks that intrigued me to have them. You know, and this was before his freeform. I will say that Dreadlocks is an originator. But anyway, you didn't have a lot though. So at the time it was just kind of like, yeah, man, this is what you need to do. This is like the manly thing to do. So much in fact that my mom and, you know, my family members had offered to pay me money to cut my hair. I cut my hair, they gave me like $500. So it's like, you know, there was a societal pressure that kind of pointed you in that direction, you know, and it's a real thing. One thing I can say to you guys that are thinking about cutting your hair is, though I did get to that place where I cut my hair, I inevitably got to the place where I regretted it. It's kind of like a nightmare. You know, oftentimes I have nightmares where, you know, I make a poor decision in my dreams and I feel the effects of that in that nightmare, and then I wake up and I kind of learn from it. When I cut my hair, there was a period of about a month where I was legitimately happy. You know, I felt like I had arrived, I was that guy, but inevitably there was this regret that, hey, like I've lost this journey, I've lost this part that was really, really important to me. Because though there were limited options, the beautiful thing about that journey was that it was ever changing, and it was, you know, it was something that, it was just unlike anything that I experienced before. And it had, you know, real life implications on the person I was becoming and in my confidence. So there was a genuine regret there when I cut it. And, you know, one thing I can offer to you guys that are thinking about it is, hey, you will enjoy it for a considerable amount of time, and you will find new things that you can do to kind of fulfill that same aspect of journey. I know a lot of people are trying to do waves, some people are growing their hair out, but if you really loved your lock, you're gonna find your way back. I can tell you, I'm a testament to that. I mean, 5 years, it took me 5 years until I ultimately got my locks back, right? And the beautiful thing about it is, everything that caused me to cut them, I've learned about my scalp psoriasis, aka my itching. You know, I've learned about how to ensure that I consistently have the options. you know, of hats and things like that by doing high top locks. You know, I've learned along the way how to sustain a lock journey for longer. So the beautiful thing about, you know, going through that first journey and going through that phase where I did cut it was, you know, hey, I have learned from it and I am better equipped now to deal with my journey now. I will tell you, the urge to cut your hair never goes away. It's just a human thing. It's almost like temptation in a marriage. Your sexual desires don't stop just because you're married. You know, your sexual desires towards other people don't stop just because you're married. In the same way, that desire to cut your hair when things get a little rough or things get a little crazy, it never goes away. So I don't want to lie to you and say, oh man, once you get locks, you're just gonna get to this place where it's just always gonna be, you know, peachy key in heaven. No, that's not the case. You will have that temptation to cut your hair, but with the knowledge, hopefully, that we're able to like give you, and people like me and other lockers are able to share, will kind of give you a little bit more of an understanding of what lies ahead when you do make those kinds of decisions. If I would have just kept my hair, I would be like an OG, triple OG in the game, right? It'd be down my back. And that loss is fortifying this current journey with all of the encouragement, all of the motivation that I need. So hopefully this can motivate you guys as well. You know, hopefully this motivates you guys as well. If you guys have any questions about my journey, please feel free to comment. If you like this video, like, share, comment, and subscribe. But yeah, you guys, do not cut your locks. Stick it through. Take it from somebody who's been there. It's not worth it. All right. TP Locks, signing out. So before I go, I want to give you guys just a quick product review. Organic Locks. She requested this product review, and I just wanted to make sure I kept my word and gave it to her. So if you guys have any, you know, questions or any reviews or any, you know, any requests that you have of me, I'll always make sure I put them in my video so that you guys know, you know, it's really important to me that I'm engaging you guys in the way that you guys want to be engaged. Yeah. So the first product that I purchased was the Tropical Roots. Right? The stimulating growth oil. Now, one thing I can tell you, all right, look at my hands. Look at my hands, see them? See them? See fingertips? I don't know if you can see that grease. One thing I can tell you is this product does a really good job of penetrating the roots, penetrating your hair, and actually getting that moisture deep within the lock. It doesn't matter how often I'm squeezing or how much. Just trust and believe that there's grease in my hand, there's oil on my hand. A lot of us know, you know, especially when our hair is locked, it does have a tendency to kind of feel brittle and dry fairly easily. Products like these with oils that, you know, penetrate that hair really well do a great job of keeping it from feeling that way. As far as the growth, you know, like I said, I've only been using it now for about a week, so I can't really assess the growth quite yet. I do have a retwist probably coming up next week. That'll be next week's video. No, it definitely does seal shine. It definitely does seal in moisture, and it's great. Also, the benefit of the smell, it's also been amazing. When you got something like pineapple and guava, pineapple is one of those things that's kind of like a universal favorite. Like everybody loves the smell of pineapple. Scale of, you know, 1 to 10, I would probably have to give this product about somewhere probably in like the 7.5 range. The only reason I would say the 7.5 range is because a product like this, though it does serve its purpose, it's a passing grade, and it does a relatively good job at what it says it's supposed to do. The only knock on a product like this is just some of the additional stuff that's in it. Anytime you have a product, like these are the ingredients. I mean, you guys obviously can't read the ingredients, but like that's all that's in it. Anytime you got this many ingredients in something that's marketed as something as simple as an oil, you got to be a little bit cautionary, right? You have to be a little bit, you know, question like, okay, what is actually in here? You know, all these extracts, all these chemicals, what are they? I don't really know what all of this stuff is in here, but I could imagine that it's not all good for your hair. So for that reason, I give it about a 7.58. The second product was the anti-itch and tension relief, the tea tree oil. Now this is the one that had everything but the kitchen sink in it. It's got peppermint oil, sunflower seed oil, sweet almond oil, cottonseed oil, sesame seed oil, hemp oil, rosemary extract. It's marketed as being dermatologist tested, fragrance free, and dye free. So it's marketed as something that is, you know, really, really good, more on the organic side. I can tell you, you know, as a design essentials product, reputation that, you know, that this line of products upholds is pretty much remained true. This has pretty much eradicated all of my itching. I don't itch a lot. Well, that's a lie. I do itch a lot. Maybe this has made me forget. Really what I do, I put this on in the morning. It's got like a great little tip. You can just put this directly on your scalp. You know, gets the oil directly to your scalp where you need it. Rub it in, and you're good. Kid you not, like, I don't know if it's because I washed my hair this week or, you know, it's this product. This does help. After washing my hair, I'll put this on. It gives it a nice little cooling sensation because of the peppermint oil. True as advertised. I have not had to scratch my hair or itch my hair a bunch. It's been a great product in helping me out with that. If I were to give this a 1 out of 10, I would rate this probably about, you know, an 8.59. Easily. The ingredients in this are a little bit more consistent with what you would see, you know, from an oil. But ingredients is about half the space that the other oil took up. Though it is, or there are a few chemicals here, for the most part, you're talking about single ingredient things in this oil. I'm gonna weigh that in. It's not gonna get a much better grade, but you know, an 8.5 is definitely a good grade. I would definitely recommend this to somebody who isn't able to get access to a single ingredient tea tree oil or, you know, a single ingredient sweet almond oil. I'm always a huge advocate for getting single ingredient products if you can. You know, for someone that's just able to step into a Sally's like I was, this would be a product that I recommend. Of all the things in Sally's, and the Sally's here, I would definitely recommend this over anything else that you could pick up at Sally's. Organic Locs, I hope that was a sufficient review for you. Like I said, these are products that I am using currently. They are working really well for me, you know, and they're great. I will say if you're looking for something that will stop your dandruff, this probably wouldn't be the best bet. You know, again, nothing works better than that Jamaican black castor oil and tea tree oil in a straight up single ingredient form. Nothing, for me, nothing has worked any better for stopping itching and dandruff. But if you want to stop itching and itching alone, this stuff will definitely work for you. All right. Again, Organic Locs, I hope this was sufficient for you. TP Locs, signing out.